There comes a moment in life when everything feels like it's moving, but going nowhere. You're busy, but not fulfilled. You're achieving, but not aligning. You're surviving, but you're not really living. And then one question changes everything. That's what happened to Tony Robbins. He wasn't born a billionaire, a best-selling author, a man leading stadiums packed with people. He was born into chaos, abandonment, abuse, and confusion. But instead of staying trapped in pain, Tony asked a question, and then another and another. And those three questions, they became the foundation, not just of his transformation, but of millions of others. So today, I want to give you a gift, the three questions that will change how you think, how you feel, how you lead, how you love, and how you live. This isn't some feel-good inspiration. This is a reset button for your life. Question one, what am I focusing on? Sounds simple, right? But this one question is controlling your life. Every second of every day, your mind is bombarded with stimuli, conversations, notifications, traffic, memories, worries, regrets. But what you choose to focus on determines your reality. Two people can go through the same event and have two totally different lives because of what they focus on. Tony's life changed when he stopped focusing on what was missing and started focusing on what was possible. Most people live in the gap. They focus on what's wrong, what they don't have, what they're not yet. Who let them down? What could go wrong? But greatness lives in the GAN. Focus on what you have, what you've survived, what's beautiful, what's working, what you can create. It's not toxic positivity. It's powerful psychology. Your mind will always find what it's looking for. If you look for problems, you'll find them. If you look for growth, you'll plant it. So pause right now and ask yourself, what am I focusing on today? Is it empowering me or draining me? What could I focus on instead that would move me forward? This is the first shift, the mental redirection. The moment you start being reactive and start being intentional, because what you focus on, you feel, and what you feel, you become. Question to us, what does this mean? This question is the holy grail of transformation, because the meaning you assign to things creates the emotion you feel, which drives the action you take, which becomes your life. The same event, like a breakup, a business failure, or being rejected, can mean I'm worthless to one person and this is a reset to another. The moment you control the meaning, you control your life. Tony says it best. Nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning you give it. Think about that. You can't always control the events of life, but you can control the story you tell yourself about those events. And that story will either make you suffer or make you stronger. Imagine this, you lose your job. You could say, this means I'm a failure. This means I'm not good enough. This means my life is over. Or you could say, this means I have space to find something aligned. This means I wasn't supposed to stay in a place that dimmed my fire. This means I'm being redirected, not rejected. Which one of those stories makes you act with power? We all have stories that we keep playing like broken records. But the good news, you're the author, you're the narrator. You get to rewrite it now. So ask yourself, what does this challenge really mean? What could it mean that would give me strength? What meaning would empower me instead of weaken me? If your meaning is disempowering, your life becomes heavy. But if your meaning lifts you, you can move mountains. Question 3, what am I going to do about it? Here's where it all becomes real. You can't just change your focus. You can't just shift the meaning. You have to take action. Massive, decisive, heart-driven action. This third question cuts through the noise because action ends suffering. Action dissolves anxiety. Action creates momentum. Action is how you turn the invisible into the visible. And action isn't about perfection. It's about direction. You don't need a 10-year plan. You need a 10-second decision to get moving in the right direction. Tony Robbins has always said, it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So stop waiting, stop blaming, stop overthinking, start acting. If you're in pain, what's one action that would move you toward healing? If you feel stuck, what's one bold step that would shatter that wall? If you want to change, what must you do now to become who you were meant to be? Don't ask, what should I do someday? Ask, what am I going to do today? Even small actions repeated daily change the trajectory of your life. This is your moment. Right now, the future is waiting on your answer to these 3 questions. What am I focusing on? What does this mean? What am I going to do about it? Everything you do, your habits, your health, your business, your relationships, all of it flows from those 3 filters. If you don't choose consciously, you'll live unconsciously. And unconscious life leads to unconscious pain. But when you take command of your mind, you take command of your destiny. Let's talk about real life. You might be thinking, but I've tried before and failed. So did Tony. He was broke at 17. He was washing dishes in a bathtub. He was depressed, overweight, alone. But he stopped asking, why is life so hard? And he started asking, what else could this mean? What can I do right now? He focused on his vision, not his circumstances. He gave his pain a powerful meaning. And then he took relentless action. That's what changed everything. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's mindset. It's belief. It's movement. And the same is true for Yao Yu. So here's the challenge for you right now. Take one area of your life, just one that you're struggling with: your health, your finances, your relationship, your purpose, and ask the 3 questions. What am I focusing on here? What meaning am I giving this? What action can I take right now? Answer them honestly, then move. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, your future self is begging you not to delay. Final word: your power was never lost, just buried. These 3 questions aren't just motivational tools. They are weapons for your mind. They are tools for transformation. They are bridges back to your truth. You already have the strength. You already have the fire. You already have the ability. You just forgot where to look. And now you remember. You are one focus away, one new meaning away, one bold action away from a completely different life. Ask better questions, live better answers, change everything. But before we dive deeper, pause with this truth. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself daily. That's not just motivational fluff. It's a psychological law. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. If you ask weak questions like, why does this always happen to me? Your mind will search for weak answers. But when you ask empowering questions, like the 3 Tony Robbins teaches, your mind is forced to find empowering solutions. Now let's explore question A2A, question A2I. What does this mean? Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about the meaning you give it. 2 people go through the exact same challenge. One crumbles, the other rises. Why? Not because of what happened, but because of the meaning they assign to it. Let's say someone breaks your trust. You could decide, this means I'll never love again, or this means I finally learned what I deserve. You see the difference. Tony says this all the time: nothing has any meaning except the meaning you give it. And that's not just a feel-good mantra. It's a strategy. It's how you take back your power in every moment. Let's go deeper. Imagine you lose your job. If you ask yourself, what does this mean? You might first feel panic, but then if you stay with the question, you'll dig deeper. It could mean it's time to level up. I was never aligned there anyway. This is the push I needed to start that business. Do you see how this single question can shift your identity in real time? When Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years, he didn't say, this means I'm a victim. He said, this means I must prepare. He used that time to rewire his mind, study his enemies, and shape the meaning of his pain. And when he got out, he led a nation to peace. It's the meaning that matters. Here's the thing: your brain automatically assigns meaning to everything. That's what it does. The trick is to interrupt that process and become conscious of the meaning you give. Because here's the hard truth: if you don't choose the meaning, your past, your pain, or someone else's voice will. Reframe it in real time. Let's bring it home with a powerful tool: reframing. This means consciously changing the meaning of something negative into something empowering. And no, it's not delusion, it's direction. Example: I failed. I discovered what doesn't work.
Now I'm closer.
They left me. I now have space for someone aligned with my soul. I'm broke. Oh, I'm building resilience and learning what truly matters. Every successful person does this every day. Tony Robbins himself was broke, overweight, and living in a tiny apartment at 19. He could have said, this means I'm worthless. But instead, he chose, this means I must grow or die trying. He asked better questions. He rewrote the meaning, and that changed everything. Now let's shift to the final question, the one that activates everything you've learned so far. Question A3, what am I going to do about it? This is the moment of power. This is the moment that separates those who live in regret from those who rise into greatness. It's not enough to know what you're focused on. It's not enough to change the meaning. You have to take action, and it doesn't have to be perfect action. It just has to be movement. You see, transformation doesn't happen through motivation alone. It happens when emotion meets motion. Tony says, never leave the scene of a decision without taking immediate action. That means when you make a breakthrough, when you shift meaning, you must lock it in with action before your mind pulls you back into old patterns. That action could be making the phone call you've been avoiding, sending the email that sets you free, applying for the job, saying yes to the gym, saying no to what drains you. Because when you act, you tell your brain this new belief is real. You start building confidence, momentum, identity. And here's the magic: the more you act, the more clarity you get. People think they need confidence before they act, but confidence comes from the action. That's why this final question is the game changer. Every time something happens, ask yourself, what am I focusing on? What does it mean? What am I going to do about it? These 3 questions form your life's operating system. Real life application. Use it daily now. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and start using these 3 questions before you react emotionally, before you spiral, before you quit scenario, you didn't get the job. What am I focusing on? The rejection. It means I wasn't the right fit or something better is coming. What am I going to do about it? Apply again, but 10x better. Rework my resume. upgrade myself. Now you're not a victim. Now you're in control. Stack the habit. Tony teaches repetition is the mother of skill. So if you want this system to work, don't just use it once. Use it every day. Use it when you're overwhelmed. You're stuck. You're doubting yourself. You're winning and want to grow more. Tattoo these 3 questions into your identity. Write them on your mirror. Put them on your lock screen. Ask them when you journal. Use them in conversations, because the more you ask them, the more you train your mind to operate at a higher level. Words from Tony. Tony once said, leaders anticipate, losers react. These 3 questions make you a leader of your mind, your emotions, your destiny. They help you anticipate your patterns. They stop reactive thinking. They upgrade your focus and turn pain into power. They change how you do everything. And that's not just a catchy title. That's the truth. Final reflection. Let's step back. Your life is not determined by circumstances. It's shaped by what you consistently focus on, assign meaning to, and take action on. That's the power of questions. That's the core of Tony Robbins' philosophy. And that's what separates those who exist from those who truly live. You now hold the blueprint. Now ask yourself, right now, what am I focusing on? What does it mean? What am I going to do about it? Because when those questions become your default response, so does greatness.